Algeria awards a $1.5 billion EPC project contract.
Algeria's non-oil exports exceed $6 billion, the highest achievement since its independence from France in 1962.
Algeria is betting on startups to boost its economy.
If the Africa you know comes from quick news clips, dusty documentaries, or that one geography lesson you barely survived, get ready to upgrade your entire mental software. Today, we're stepping into Algeria, the country so misunderstood, even Google Maps hesitates before loading it. This is not the Africa TV feeds you. This is the Africa they don't show you, where every stereotype gets roasted alive under the Sahara sun. Let's kick off with the first mind reboot. Algeria is the largest country in Africa. Yep. Number 1, the heavyweight champion of the continent. A place where you can drive for hours and still feel like you're warming up. And despite what people imagine, it's not just endless sand dunes and mirages. It's forests, mountains, Mediterranean coastlines, futuristic cities, ancient villages, and landscapes that look like Mother Nature accidentally hit the shuffle button. And speaking of dunes, brace yourself, because the next part is hotter than your phone after 8 hours in the sun. You cannot talk about Algeria without entering the Sahara, but not the dusty, boring desert you see in stock photos. No, this is the world's largest hot desert, covering 80% of Algeria and looking like the opening scene of a sci-fi film. Massive dunes that feel alive, sunsets that explode with color, ancient rock art that predates your oldest ancestor, and silence so deep you can hear your thoughts trying to form personality. But here's the twist. You're about to go from the emptiness of the desert to the fullness of Algeria's identity. And trust me, this jump is wild. Long before the Romans pulled up, before the Arabs arrived, before the French came with blueprints and baguettes, this land belonged to the Amazigh, also known as the Berber people, one of the oldest civilizations on the continent. They're still here, still proud, still shaping Algeria like cultural architects. And if you think all Algerians look the same, think again. They come in every shade, tone, and glow level known to humanity. Some people are so bright they look sponsored by the Mediterranean sun. Others, smooth cocoa sheen with built-in highlight. One thing many Algerians will tell you, inside, I'm 100% African. But the outside world forgets that part, so let's fix it. Now picture this. You land in Algiers, step outside, and suddenly you're asking yourself, did I just teleport to Europe? The city is a blend of whitewashed buildings, sloping streets, blue balconies, and architecture so French it might say bonjour when you walk by. But then you turn a corner, and everything changes. You enter Casbah, the ancient heartbeat of Algiers. Narrow streets twisting like they're protecting secrets. Old doors that creak with history. Balconies hanging low like elders watching the neighborhood. This is where the independence movement breathed, fought, whispered, and rose. Every wall has a memory. Every stone has a story. And if you think the city looks dramatic now, wait until you hear what happened here. Because the next part of Algeria's story makes every action movie look underfunded. What most people don't realize is that behind Algeria's beauty lies a history so intense it makes every Hollywood revolution look like a school play. You see those charming French-style buildings in Algiers? They didn't arrive gently. France invaded Algeria in 1830, planted its flag, and ruled for 132 years. And during that time, brutality wasn't an exception, it was the business model. Entire communities were uprooted, languages were sidelined, schools were shut down, and identities were crushed under the weight of colonial rule. In fact, historians estimate that over 6 million Algerians were killed during those 132 years. 6 million. That's not history. That's trauma written in capital letters. Walk through Casbah, and you don't just see walls. You see resistance. You see strategy. You see a whole city that decided to fight back with everything it had. This is where guerrilla warfare was born, where every alley hid rebels, where every rooftop was a lookout, and where the struggle for independence roared to life. But here's the beautiful plot twist. Despite everything, Algeria rose hard. In 1962, after a brutal war of liberation, the country won its independence, and the monument of the martyrs in Algiers stands tall today, 3 giant wings reaching toward the sky like a permanent reminder. Never forget who fought for your freedom. And speaking of rising, let me take you somewhere that'll make you question everything you've been taught about Africa's infrastructure. Because the next thing you don't see on TV, Algeria's cities don't just function, they glide. You'd think you accidentally teleported into some advanced European transport simulation. There are metros so clean, you'd hesitate to breathe too hard. Trams stretching across entire districts. Buses that arrive on time like they signed a contract with destiny. Highways smoother than your last pickup line. And the price? Practically pocket lint. You can travel across the city for the cost of a snack. 1 ticket, any stop, done. Step into the metro, and it's spotless. No graffiti, no broken seats, no suspicious puddles, just efficiency. You sit there thinking, wait, this is Africa? Why didn't anyone tell me Africa could look like this? Well, surprise, you're seeing the version of Africa the world rarely spotlights. But hold that thought, because once you step out of the metro and into Algiers' streets, you notice something even more miraculous. Maintenance. Real, consistent, obsessive maintenance. Roads aren't just repaired, they're pampered. Buildings aren't just cleaned, they're preserved. Sidewalks don't crack, they age gracefully. Algerians don't wait for things to break before fixing them. They fix them before you even notice something might go wrong. Imagine this. A road was renovated 2 years ago, and now it's being renovated again. Not because it broke, but because they want it to stay new. Meanwhile, other countries are out here dodging potholes like they're participating in ninja training. And that's the difference. That's the Algeria they don't show you. A country that doesn't just build, it maintains. A country that doesn't just upgrade, it upkeeps. A country that genuinely understands that infrastructure without maintenance is just a future headache waiting to happen. But hold tight, we're just getting warmed up, because the next part isn't just surprising, it's the part where Algeria breaks every misconception about Africa's lifestyle, education, and government support systems. Now let's talk lifestyle in Algeria, because this is where things start sounding so unbelievable, you might think I'm reading out fictional tourism propaganda. But no, this is real life, and it hits harder than a plot twist in a telenovela. First shocker, Algeria's education system is basically a cheat code for life. School from elementary all the way to university, practically free. Not discounted, not reduced. We're talking, you pay the price of a bottle of water. Per year, $1. That's it. 4 years of university, $4. Bro, that's cheaper than a sandwich in most countries. And here's the part that really makes your jaw dislocate. Not only is education nearly free, students get paid to study. Yes, Algeria literally pays its citizens to go to school. Imagine telling your parents, I'm going to class, and instead of them yelling for you to focus, the government deposits money in your account for showing up. Some countries give students stress. Algeria gives students stipends. But don't catch your breath yet, because the next surprise is even wilder. Unemployed? In many countries, that means belly aches, eviction threats, and ramen noodles for dinner. But in Algeria, if you're a recent graduate actively looking for work, the government pays you while you search. It's like the country looked at unemployment and said, no, relax, we're not going to let you suffer while you figure life out. It's not a free-for-all system. It's structured, targeted, and designed to give young adults a soft landing instead of a crash. And honestly, if more countries copied this, therapists worldwide would lose 90% of their clients. Now add this. Healthcare is almost free too. You walk into a hospital, get treated, and the bill is so tiny, you'll think the cashier forgot a few zeros. It's healthcare for pennies. So, while some nations are out here charging people the GDP of a small island for a doctor's visit, Algeria is proving that affordability isn't a dream. It's a choice governments can actually make. But one of my favorite shocks comes from something no one ever talks about: Algeria's national airline. Most African countries have flags. Algeria has Air Algerie, a full fleet flying across the continent and beyond. The airport isn't filled with random international planes. It's packed with their own planes, their own crew, their own routes. It's the kind of national pride you can literally board. And speaking of pride, let's talk about Algerians themselves, because the stereotype breaking here is Olympic level. Many travelers, especially black travelers, arrive a little unsure, expecting coldness or hostility. But once they hit the streets, the narrative melts instantly. You'll find warmth, curiosity, compliments flying around like confetti, and random strangers insisting you try their food even after you swear you're full. Algerians don't just welcome you, they adopt you. Sure, the airport might feel a little strict, but once you hit real Algeria, marketplaces, neighborhoods, cafes, you realize just how inaccurate the world's perception has been. And just when you think you've grasped the vibe of the place, Algeria throws one more curveball your way. Its architecture, its history, its culture. They all blend into something so unique, you start questioning why this country isn't on every travel blogger's bucket list. Because the next part, that's where Algeria's ancient soul meets its modern ambitions. And the contrast is so striking, it deserves its own documentary. And now we're in the part of Algeria that almost feels unfair, because no country should be allowed to stack this much beauty, history, and modern development all at once. Algeria isn't just a place, it's a plot twist. One minute you're staring at ancient ruins, the next minute you're riding one of the cleanest metros in Africa, thinking, hold up, why didn't anyone tell me Africa could look like this? Let's start with something simple, but shocking. Algeria actually plans its cities well. Sidewalks make sense, public spaces are clean, transportation flows like it got coached by Formula One engineers, and if you need a ride, you're not stranded. There's Hitch, the Algerian Uber cousin, waiting to scoop you up. And the transport system? It's almost disrespectfully efficient. Metro, tram, bus, done. Everything connects, everything works, everything arrives on time, like it's trying to impress someone. While other places are dodging potholes like ninjas, Algeria is out here renovating roads before they break. That's not maintenance, that's preventive magic. But Algeria's real superpower is its personality. Algiers, Oran, Constantine, Tlemcen, every city feels like its own world. Mediterranean flair, Ottoman whispers, Amazigh roots, French architecture, African heartbeat, it's all mixed into a flavor that only Algeria could cook up. And beneath all that beauty lies a history heavier than anything TV ever shows. Colonization, revolution, sacrifice. Algeria carried trauma that would flatten weaker nations. But instead of collapsing, the country rose, rebuilt, and turned its pain into pride. The Monument of the Martyrs isn't just a landmark, it's a reminder carved in concrete. We survived, we remember, we move forward. Pair that resilience with a population that's warm, stylish, multilingual, and proud. And you start wondering why Algeria isn't the most talked about destination in the world. Seriously, between almost free education, nearly free healthcare, national airlines, stunning landscapes, and cities that blend history with modern life, Algeria should be trending every year. But people still rely on outdated narratives. Good thing you're here, because we're rewriting them. If this video opened your eyes, made you rethink North Africa, or even made you say, wow, that's Algeria, then hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe. because this is the Africa they don't show you. And we're only getting started. Algeria, thank you for surprising the world. And to everyone watching, get ready. The next country might shock you even more.